So here's something that catches out a lot of brands doing decent revenue. Your ROAS looks fine, the dashboard's green, Meta's telling you everything's working, and yet, when you actually look at the business, you're not really growing. You're spending more and more, and the new customers just aren't showing up the way the numbers say they should. And the truth is, this is usually not a creative problem, and it's not a budget problem. It's that Meta is quietly doing the easy thing instead of the hard thing. So in this video, I want to show you how we structure accounts to force Meta to go and find genuinely new customers, and just as importantly, how we actually measure which campaign to scale and when. Let me explain what I mean by the easy thing, right? Meta's job is to get you conversions as cheaply as it can. And the cheapest conversions in the world are the people who are already going to buy from you anyway. Your existing customers, people who've bought before, people on your list who already love the brand. So if you let it run wide open, a big chunk of your spend quietly goes to harvesting people who would have come back regardless. The ROAS looks great because repeat buyers convert cheap, but you're basically paying to retarget your own customers and calling it growth. To actually grow, you have to make it harder for the machine on purpose. The way we do that is with 3 separate campaigns for a product, and the only thing that changes between them is who we let in. The first one has no exclusions at all. It's open to everyone, including your existing customers. The second one excludes your purchases. And when I say purchases, I mean 2 things stacked together. Your 180-day pixel purchases, so everyone the pixel has tracked buying in the last 6 months, and your Klaviyo purchaser segment synced into Meta, so the full purchase history from your email platform, not just what the pixel caught. So that second campaign is talking to your warm audience and cold people, but not your buyers. Then the third campaign is the strict one, and this is the important one. This excludes everyone who already knows you in any way. So on top of the purchases, you're excluding your 180-day website visitors through the pixel, anyone who's landed on your site in the last 6 months, your Klaviyo all profiles list, so anyone who's ever signed up to your email list, full stop. And your 365-day Facebook and Instagram engagers. So anyone who's interacted with your social pages or even just landed on your profile in the last year. You're being really, really harsh here deliberately. You're cutting out anyone with any prior contact at all. And here's why that third campaign matters so much. That's the one actually driving brand awareness for you. Now, it's not just that it targets people who've never bought, because the exclude purchases campaign does that too. It's that this targets people who've never bought, never clicked an ad, never seen your social profile, never even visited your website. These are completely fresh eyes, people who have no idea you exist. So that campaign is the one in your account that's genuinely growing your audience, bringing brand new people into the world of your brand, rather than just converting people who were already circling. Now here's the question everyone asks: which one do I scale? And this is where most people go wrong, because you cannot answer that from inside Ads Manager. And here's the reason why. Meta shows higher attribution to the campaigns that are optimized towards grabbing that last click purchase and the warmer audiences, the people closest to buying. So inside the platform, your no exclusions campaign and your warmer campaigns will almost always look like they've got the best ROAS, and your cold acquisition campaign will look like the weak one. But that cold campaign is probably the thing that actually brings new people into your funnel. You just can't see that from in there because Meta is showing you the easy last click, not the full journey of how someone found you. So to see what's really going on, you put third-party attribution over the top. We use platforms like Triple Whale for this, with UTMs underneath it. And the reason that it matters is it gives you 3 dials to turn, not 1. The first is the attribution model, so first click versus last click. The second is the time window, so 7-day, 28-day, and lifetime. And the third, which is the big one for acquisition, is the split between new customer revenue and returning customer revenue. Most people only ever look at one blended ROAS number. You need all 3 of these dials to actually know what to scale. Let's start with the model. First click tells you what introduced the customer, what first brought them in the door. Last click tells you what actually closed the sale. And those can be 2 completely different campaigns. So you never rely on just one. You always check both first click and last click on every campaign. Lean on only one of them and you can easily put your budget behind the wrong campaign. But here's the trap that catches even the people who do check both models. A campaign can look brilliant on first click and on last click and still be almost entirely returning customers. Your no exclusions campaign is the classic one. Its ROAS looks fantastic, right at the top, and you think that's the winner. Let's pour money in. But then you split new customer revenue from returning customer revenue and you see that lovely ROAS is almost all your existing customers buying again. So if your actual goal is growth, blended ROAS will lie to you every single time. You have to look at new customer revenue on its own. You judge your acquisition campaigns on the new customers they're genuinely bringing in, and you look at returning revenue as a separate thing, because they can be two completely different jobs. So with all three dials in mind, let's talk about how you actually read this. You lay each campaign out on both first click and last click across all three windows, and you split new from returning customers the whole way. Start with the long view. Over all time, looking at new customer revenue, your exclude everyone campaign should be right at the top on first click, because over a long enough horizon, that's the one whose whole job is bringing fresh people in. That's your long-term acquisition engine, and it's the benchmark you keep coming back to. Then you come into the shorter windows to see what's happening right now. And this is where looking at both models together really earns its keep. Let me give you a real example of how it plays out. Over 28 days, your exclude purchases campaign might be doing really well on last click. So it's clearly closing a lot of sales. But when you check first click over that same window, it's actually your no exclusions or your exclude everyone campaign that's strong. So that's what introduced those people in the first place. If you only looked at last click, you'd think exclude purchases was the hero and put everything into it, when really it's just finishing off sales that something else started. That's why you check both models across 7 days, 28 days, and lifetime, so you can see who's bringing them in and who's closing them, and then make the budget call off the full picture. There's also a timing thing to hold in your head while you do this. Cold people take longer to come around. They've only just met you, so your exclude everyone campaign often looks soft, maybe even over 7 days, and only really proves itself over 28 days and lifetime. So if it's already winning on the short window, easy, scale it. If it's lagging at 7 days first click, but catching up by 28, I'd usually still scale it, because those fresh eyes are what keep your warm audience topped up, which is what keeps the exclude purchases campaign fed. Starve the top and the whole thing dries up. Then there's a case where your exclude purchases campaign is genuinely your strongest for new customers across the windows, on first click as well as last click, not just closing sales that something else introduced. That's usually the sign you've built up a strong warm audience, and it's worth putting more into it for now. Just check it against the lifetime window first and make sure your exclude everyone campaign is still pulling its weight on new customer revenue over the long run. If exclude purchases is beating it even on lifetime, that's a red flag. Your cold campaign isn't really working, and you either reset it, put fresh creative in, or ease off the harshest exclusion, which is that 365-day social engagement one, because that's the one cutting out the most reach. And then there's that no exclusions campaign, the one Meta loves to flatter. Its job usually isn't acquisition, it's returning revenue. So most of the time you're reading it on last click and on returning customer revenue. And when that return customer ROAS sits well above the others, that's your existing base going into repurchase mode. Maybe after a big sale, a few months back, and you ride that while it's hot. But I do want to be fair to this campaign, because it's not only a repeat purchase play. Sometimes it brings in new customers really well too. And you'll only spot that if you've got the new versus returning split in front of you. For a newer brand without much of an existing customer base, it can genuinely be your best acquisition campaign. Sometimes the only one you need. So it really just depends, and that's the whole reason you read the actual data instead of assuming what each campaign is doing. So when you put it all together, the right answer genuinely changes month to month, and that's the whole point. You keep all three campaigns running because their jobs rotate. The exclude everyone is your long-term engine and your awareness play. The exclude purchases one catches your warm audience when it's built up, and the no exclusion one usually harvests repurchases, though it can pull in new customers too. And the only way to know which is doing what is to review every campaign on both first click and last click across your 7-day, 28-day, and lifetime windows, and to split new customers from returning customer revenue every single time, instead of glancing at one blended ROAS figure on one setting and guessing. The reason all of this matters is that once you separate the audiences like this and measure them honestly, you stop fooling yourself. You can finally see how much you're truly paying to bring in a brand new customer versus how much you were just paying to buy back people you already had. And 9 times out of 10, when a brand does this for the first time, the real cost of a new customer is higher than they thought. But now they can actually do something about it because they can see exactly which campaign moves it. Now, structuring your account like this is how you force genuine new customer acquisition and actually measure it, but it's still only part of the picture. You've also got to feed these campaigns with diverse creatives that keep pulling fresh people in, get your offer and landing page converting that traffic, and have a proper testing rhythm behind all of it. So if you're doing over 100K per month and you want to know whether you're really acquiring new customers or just rebuying the ones you've already got, click the link in the description, enter your details, and I'll be in touch to run a free audit of your account, no strings attached. But even more importantly, go and watch my full breakdown of the super campaign framework, because once you know which campaigns deserve more budget, that's how we actually scale the winners without sending them back into learning and blowing up your costs. It's really practical, and I reckon you'll find some gems for your brand. See you in the next one.